Today we're going to learn about Scratch. Scratch is a tool that's used to create video games, choose your own adventure stories, animations, all kinds of projects. And it's free to use, free to sign up. You can get to Scratch by going to scratch.mit.edu in your browser, and then click the Join Scratch button in the top right corner. So when you click on that, you're going to fill out a username and password. You'll then follow the remaining steps and sign up. I'm going to go ahead and sign in and show you what an example project might look like. To find your projects, you can click on the folder icon right here that says My Stuff. And today we're going to walk through the creation of this one called Dancing. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this. And this is a little tutorial in which we get the cat to dance. We can also make him walk off the stage, walk back on the stage, and that's about it. So this will take us through all of the basics of setting up a Scratch project. So let's go ahead and create this. I'm going to click the Create tab in the top left, and that's going to give us a blank editor with one picture of a cat on the stage. So a quick tour of your interface here is that you've got your file menu up here, edit menu. You also have a duplicate button. The scissors is your delete shortcut. You can make something grow larger or smaller with these two buttons. And then we've got these tabs. So mainly we'll be working with the scripts here today, and this is used to make this character move around the stage or change how it looks or change the sounds. There's also the Costumes tab, and the Costumes tab is where we can build these characters. So here we have a cat in mid-stride, and here the cat is stepping. We can also record sounds on this tab, or there's a library of sounds by clicking on the little speaker icon, and you can go through different categories. So let's begin making our first app by going to the Costumes tab. And what we're going to do here is we're going to duplicate these two costumes but have them facing a different direction. Other things that we can do in here is we could actually change the colors and perhaps even draw other shapes, but for now all we're going to do is make this cat dance. So I'm going to use the duplicate tool, which is found right here, and I'm just going to click on this first costume. So I get a copy of it down here, and it's numbered number 3. Let's click this button over here, which flips it to the left. So now I have the cat facing right with 1 foot forward. And let's do the same thing with this image right here. I'm going to go ahead and click the duplicate and turn. So now if I went through this, it looks as if the cat will be moving and turning. All right, so let's use that and build a script on it. So the first thing that I'm going to do, actually let me go back to the costume tab, and I'm going to make sure that costume 1 is selected. And then I'm going to go to scripts, and the first thing that we want to do is create an event. So that's the event category right here. And we have plenty to choose from. Let's start at the top with when the green flag is checked or clicked. That means go. So green means go, red means stop. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to add something for the cat to say. So that's going to be found under looks. So let's go to the looks category. Here's all the things we can do with looks. And let's have the cat say, watch me dance. So I'm going to just drag this over here. And by the way, if you have something that you want to get rid of, you can detach and just put it right back in here, and that gets rid of it. So let's go ahead and add this to our stack. And we're going to change the duration here to 1 second. So we're going to say, watch me dance. I'm going to just double click on hello. And we can actually test this out right now. I'm going to go ahead and click the green flag, green for go, and it says watch me dance. All right, let's keep going. Let's add a control event that is going to repeat some commands. So let's go ahead and just drag this one right here. And we do want it to repeat 10 times, but let's put 2 commands in here that will get repeated. So the first one is going to be a change in how this cat looks. So let's drag the next costume into this stack, and let's drag the play drum from the sounds into the stack. So I'm going to drag this one right over into here, and we can change the different things that it does. Let's change this to tambourine, and let's go ahead and play it out. So it says watch me dance, and here he goes, he's moving around. Okay, the next thing that we want to do is let's control this cat using the keyboard. So let's use the right arrows and the left arrows on our keyboard to make the mouse go left or right. So to do that, let's create a whole separate event. So I'm going to click on events, and I'm going to drag this one over here that says when space key is pressed. I'm just going to drag this on into here, but I'm going to change from space key to right arrow. So when the right arrow is pressed, this action is going to get performed. So the first thing is let's go ahead and point this cat in the direction that's going right. So let's do that. So I'm going to drag this one over to here, and then if I hit this drop down box, it'll tell you to the right what these degrees mean. So 90 degrees means facing to the right, negative 90 is to the left, 0 is up, and 180 is down. So we want this cat to go to the right when we push the right arrow, so we want the 90 degree one. The next thing that we're going to want to do is switch the costume. So let's go back to looks, and let's switch the costume. Now it automatically defaults to the last costume in our list, so let's go ahead and switch it to costume number 1. And the reason why I'm selecting costume number 1 here is because that one is the one that shows the cat walking to the right. Okay, now let's repeat some steps. So let's go to the Control tab, and I'm going to drag the repeat in here again. But this time, let's make him repeat for 15 steps. The reason why I'm going to go for 15 is because that's going to take him all the way off the screen. So let's drag our move under motion, so move for 10 steps. And then once we move for 10 steps, we're going to switch costumes. So let's go back to looks. Let's switch to costume number 2 at that point. And then what we need to do is we need to wait. So this animation would go super fast, and it wouldn't really give you time to see any of these switches unless we waited. But instead of waiting for a full second, let's only wait for a part of a second. I'm going to put in 0.1 right here. So that's 0.1. All right. Then after waiting for a second, we can switch back to costume number 1. So I'm going to go to looks, switch back to costume number 1, and then move for 10 steps. So I'm going to go move for 10 steps. Okay, let's see how that looks. So I'm just going to click inside my frame and then push to the right. Okay, so our cat was moving. Now let's do the same thing with the left key, but my cat's off the stage, so I'm going to just drag my cat back to the middle of the stage and make another control structure. But this time, I'm basically going to be grabbing this one and changing it to the left. So I'm going to say left arrow key. Alright, so then under my Motion tab, I need to set the direction. So I'm going to point our cat in a particular direction. And in this case, I do want the cat to go to the left. So that'd be negative 90 degrees. And then we need to switch the costume. So we're going to go to Looks and switch costume. So let's change it to costume number 1. Actually, you may assume that we would want costume number 3. So let me show you what happens. When I click on this, notice how the cat is going to go upside down here. So let me switch to costume number 3, and then I'm going to hit the left arrow. Alright, so notice how the cat's upside down. Well, that's because of its rotation. So I'm going to delete this for a second. And let me detach, delete, and reset. Alright, what's going on here is we actually need to set the sprite. There's a little information thing here on how the sprite is rotated. And right now the sprite rotation is set to go in this direction. What we really want is it to flip left to right. So we're going to click on that arrow right there. So that's going to help us out when we use our arrow keys. So the next thing to do would be to go back to the Looks category and change the costume now. So we're going to change the costume to costume number 1. And the next one is going to be a repeat structure. So we need to have the control and then repeat. We were going to repeat this for 15 repetitions. We need to go to Motion and Move. So we're going to have this cat move for 10 steps, but then switch costumes. So we're going to go to Switch Costumes. This will be costume number 2 now. And once again, we need to wait in between. So we're going to change wait to 0.1 seconds. And then change the costume one more time. So we're going to switch the costume to costume number 1 again. And then move 10 more steps. Alright, so let's try the left arrow key. So there's the cat going. So let me move the cat right back to the beginning of the stage. Alright, so I think we have everything set up here as default. Let's go ahead and click on the flag. So here the cat should be dancing and we hear the tambourine. I could make the cat go to the right. I can make the cat go to the left. And back to the right. Okay. So now here's a few other things that you can do. Since our scene is pretty plain here, let's add a backdrop to it. In the lower left-hand corner are multiple backdrop options. This one right here allows us to pick from a library of pre-made backdrops. We could create our own with this paintbrush tool. We can upload one that may be saved on our computer somewhere, and we could take a picture of a backdrop using the camera icon. Let's use one straight from the library, so we'll go ahead and click on this one, and you can take a look at all the different themes and categories that are here, but we're going to scroll down and click the Spotlight Stage, and then click OK. I'm going to center the cat on the stage and see how it fits, and test out the 2 arrow key commands that we built. So I'm going to test exit stage left, and the entrance by pushing on the right key. And that looks pretty good. So now we're going to want to save our project, so we'll click the Save Now button. When it grays out, it's complete. And finally, let's talk about how to turn it in. So to turn in your project, you're going to want to click this blue button right there, and that'll bring you to this page. So up here is our title, and if you haven't got that in yet, you can. I have 2 dancing projects, so mine says dancing 2, but yours will just say dancing. Give yourself credit right here, so I'll do that myself. And finally, you're going to click the embed link right here, and what you need is that link. Alright, so you can copy this link down here to your project and submit this in Schoology. If you've done all that, you've successfully completed your first Scratch project.